Hi there, welcome here guys. In this lecture we'll initialize our environment so we can work with the Rust programming language. So without any further waiting, let's begin. Open please your terminals. So if you're on a Linux or a Mac, you can open your terminal. If you're on a Windows, you can open your PowerShell, right? So PowerShell. If you don't have a PowerShell for some reason, you can go with a CMDir. All right, so here in the browser, you can search for CMDir console emulator, okay, for a Windows. All right, so when we have this, we can continue and we can prepare environment so we can execute the Rust code on our computers and we can compile Rust code into machine code. Okay, so what we are going to do, we'll go to Google and we'll search here for Rust book. Okay, it's also very good resource for you, so you can work with the Rust. So here is a doc Rust language org. Okay. By the way, if you're looking for resources for the Rust, this is the page you can find all of the explanations about the Rust. Okay, so what we're looking for here, we want to get started. We want to install it here. So we'll click here on installation, and on the Mac or on the Linux is very simple. So if you're currently on the Mac or Linux, just copy this command, go to your terminal, and let's paste this command here. This will take quite a while. I already have Rust installed, so let me take a look here. Yeah, I will proceed with the installation. Okay. Okay, so if you're on a Windows, the installation is a little bit different. You need to go down here, and here you have installing Rust app on Windows. So we'll click here on Rust language on this link here. You'll scroll a little bit down and you should find here exe file. You can see here exe file. When you will click at this, it will start downloading. Okay, so simply find the place where you want to save your Rust app in it. And when it's downloaded, you can just execute it and you can install it. Okay. After this is done, when you're on a Windows, you need to also install one more thing. So let's go back in your browsers, and here there should be Visual Studio 2019. You need to build tools for the Rust. Okay, so here is you also need the C++ build tools for Visual Studio. So here is a link also, build tools for Visual Studio. You can click at this, and here is a download build tools. Okay, again, follow the steps. It's very, very simple installation. Okay, so when we have this, when is this installed, we can verify it was installed. Okay, so let's go back to installations. You should see this message at least on the Mac. All right. Okay. Also, when you're on a Mac or a Linux, you can see here to configure your current shell run, and you need to run this command. Okay. So source home cargo env. I will clear it out and I will paste it here like this. Okay, and that's it. Now maybe you need to close your terminals. Okay, so I'll close my terminal just to be sure. Okay, so let's close it. Let's open it again. All right, so to open the terminal, and now let's follow these commands here. Let's go back to Brave browser. By the way, when you're on the Mac, you need to also have Xcode installed. So I suppose that you have already Xcode installed when you're working on a Mac. Okay, so now we need to run here Rust app update. So here is the command, Rust app update. Let's copy this, go to terminal, and provide this command here, and let's execute it. And you should see here it was updated. Okay, it's unchanged because I was already on the latest versions. Okay, I'll clear it out. So when it was discussed successful, we are one step away from our goal. Let's go back to our browser, and now Rust app self. No, we don't want to install it. Okay, so let's go here and let's check your version. Okay, so let's copy this command, version, get here, version. And here is the version. Maybe you see here maybe a different version. Maybe you're not working with a nightly. When you have here a stable version, that's also okay. You don't need to have a nightly version as I have. Okay, I will clear it out, and that's basically it. So Rust has been installed, and now we can compile the Rust code. What are the benefits of the Rust? Why we want to work with the Rust is simple. I would like to show you this type of the language. It's very similar to C++. It's a high-level language, but you can also operate on low-level instructions. You can manipulate, you can optimize the memory you are working with, and it's overall very performance beneficial language. So when you're working on applications that requires a lot of performance, you are going with this type of the language. You would go overall with the C++ or with the Rust. It's a safe language, is a typed language, so you have a types as you are maybe used to from a TypeScript. It will be very similar to use the types in the Rust. And one of the main reasons why we are using the Rust is that the Rust can be compiled into the WebAssembly. What is a WebAssembly? It's just a set of instructions that can be executed in your browser. So as you're executing your JavaScript code in the browser, we'll be executing also WebAssembly code in our browsers. And with the Rust, we'll create applications we'll be able to run in our browsers. Once again, why we are doing it in the Rust, why we are using JavaScript, it's that because the Rust is the safe language, is very performance. So when you are working on applications, for example, visual recognition or artificial intelligence or some 3D games or a cat applications, you would go overall with this approach. You wouldn't be doing it in the JavaScript. Of course, you could, but the Rust have these benefits. Okay, so when everything is installed, one more thing here before we'll start to initialize anything else, please open your Visual Studio Code. Of course, if you don't using this coding editor, I would suggest you to use Visual Studio Code. You can see here Visual Studio Code. Again, very simple installations. If you're looking for this, Visual Studio Code, okay? It's not a Visual Studio, but it's a Visual Studio Code. You can download it here. It's very simple installation. Okay, so when you have it, you can open Visual Studio Code, and also on the left side in this panel here, you can see extensions. And from the extensions, I would like to suggest you to install, we'll be installing the Rust. You can search for Rust extension. You can click here, install. I have already installed, so I can only uninstall it, but if you see here Rust, you can install this extension. And also later we'll be working with a WebAssembly, so please also let's install WebAssembly, this one here from WebAssembly Foundation. All right, guys, with all of this, when you have been able to run here the command to check the Rust version, everything is okay for you. We'll continue the next lecture. We'll start writing the first Rust code, and we'll be talking about the language, and we'll be creating our application. Cheers.